Hello, my name is John Svek. Welcome to this All-24 video. I'm here with Coach Gary Waterman, and we have guest coach today, Coach Scott Ledieu, who's with us for this edition of our One Clip Series. So if you've seen this before, what we're going to do is just randomly pick a football play. None of us have prepared for it. We're going to pick it at random, and we're just going to kind of break it down and see what we can see. So Coach and I will use our high-tech way of picking this play. He's not going to look. You can tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Okay, we'll go into the game here. And one more time, just to pick the actual play we're going to work on. Coach, if you could tell me when to stop.
Stop.
All right, we have a random play here. Perfect. All right, I'll just set up the formation here. Looks like they have a 23 formation with the receiver strength into the boundary, and number 3 is a big body there. I think that might be an extra offensive lineman they have on the field. 2 is a wing, and then they have the 1 detached with the 2 to the field. So we'll give Coach Ledieu first crack at it. What are some thoughts when you look at this formation here, Coach?
I like I like playing with the field formation strength to the boundary. I think it can give you some interesting leverage, some leverage advantages, and then really compressing it with the tight end, big body, as well as the wing. Really giving yourself a run strength to that direction is something that I haven't played with a ton, just because we've got to be a bit more not basic, but a little bit more simple in our formations. But it is something that I think is wonderful. I know we played, in my playing days, we had a couple of double tight formations that we were really looking to set up the run and that kind of thing. So it's, I do like flipping the strength and getting some extra big bodies in there for sure.
Coach Waterman, thoughts?
Yeah, I think Scott's bang on that it does present some challenges in terms of from a defensive perspective. You create, field space to the field side, particularly when they bring that Sam over to the boundary. They've got that extra heavy body in there, which is, always a challenge. And so spatially and formationally, I think they're putting the defense in a situation where they're going to have to adjust the alignment, and then now they can be more of a dictated mode of maybe attacking the field if they got space, or if they don't, the defense doesn't come over to the boundary with enough muscle, maybe loading up and pounding the boundary. So we'll see what happens here, but I think Scott's bang on.
Yeah, and I'll just make one last comment that, the first decision defensively, because the first thing that happens from a logistics standpoint is they're going to jog that extra O-lineman onto the field. So that's something we do have time if we see it. Do we want to match that with a bigger body? Are we okay in our base personnel? Once they go to that 6-0 line look, what's our reaction to be on the defensive side? So let's let it play a little bit. See if we get any pre-snap motion, or just see if we can see the play. Okay, so it looks like the wing's going to come across just at the snap, slicing across the formation. So it could be an inside zone look, with that kind of slice or wham block coming across. He seems to slip out. They get him in the flats, and it looks like they have a chance to get some yardage on us here. Thoughts, coaches, as we're watching this?
I love
I'll give you a first crack. Go ahead.
I love split zone, and getting a chance to sort of bluff the cut there on the back end and release. And like Coach said earlier, to the field. Look at all the space he has out to the field on that arrow.
Yeah, and I would add, you notice that there's one of the decisions you have to make is when you do that overload or the boundary side with 3 receivers in that formation, and you start to bring a guy across, who chases it? How do you get over there? And you can see what happens in this play. The Sam is chasing and tracking that slicing action. But he kind of gets distracted. So when you talk about defense, you'd like to see his eyes stay on that tracker, but he sees that inside zone look and gets distracted a little bit, and that allows them to out-leverage, outnumber the defenders on the field side. So that's one of the things you can take advantage of if you've got that zone action and that slice across. You've got to rely on the defenders of being their discipline in the play, and if they make any mistakes, you can take advantage of it.
Yeah, you're bang on with the eye discipline of the Sam. I mean, he's assuming that this slice block is going to block the defensive end, and that's where the play is going to stop. But this obviously slips out, and yeah, numerically the defense is in tough to the field there. Any final thoughts before we go to the tight view, guys?
No, I'd love
If
to
you
see
got
the
a
tight.
guy, sorry, if you got a guy at that wing position, it makes things a lot easier for you, isn't it? Like if he can be that stand up the backside end, he's got the size to do it, but he's got the hands and he's nimble enough to release out on that. Like you can do a lot of things with a guy like that.
That's a weapon. That's absolutely a weapon there. Okay, let's see the tight. Obviously, a lot of big bodies there on the screen.
You know, if I could make one more comment here, just going back to run it back to the start of that. I think one of the challenges formationally, you know, the wing is actually number 2,
Right.
and your Sam is on the offensive lineman who is actually 3. So when that wing slices across, he becomes a new 3. Which you better be sound on your defensive adjustments and understand that who's tracking that, who should be going. Because if you're not, you can see teams easily, or defenses is easily messing up where 2 players chase or nobody chases can create a lot of stress. So going from lining up in 2, but now becoming the new 3 is something you better be prepared for on defense.
All right, Coach Ledieu, we'll give you the last word here if you have any final thoughts.
Just as a O-line guy, I'd like to see maybe a bit more work on the double. Like we could get some pretty solid double teams here. If we were to give this ball, we may be in trouble just with missing some linebackers scraping. If we could be a little bit more vertical against a 30, especially, we may get a chance, if it's a true read, having a chance to bust a big run here too.
For sure. Well, that's great, guys. I think some great insight, some great thoughts on a random play there. So there's another edition of our One Clip series, and we really appreciate Coach Ledieu being here and putting in your 2 cents, Coach. Really been great talking some football with you.
Yeah, it's been fun. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, Coach. We really appreciate it.